This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I'm Jim.
I'm Dar. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Happy 4th of July to our American friends. We're festooned appropriately. I've got my shirt. You have your earrings and your nails. Very nice.
We're very
nice.
patriotic.
Hey, USA.
250 years.
Yeah. I'm old enough where I was a little kid, but I remember when it was 200 years. That's scary. A very little kid, very young, barely
Same.
out of the womb, but I do remember.
Well, wait, wouldn't you have been 7?
Yeah.
I'm calling you
barely
out
out of the
buddy.
womb. Well,
because I remember, I have a specific memory. I was younger than you, but I have a specific memory of that. I decorated my bike. My mom helped me decorate my bike. I think there was like some kind of bike parade, and I was in it twice. Once I was older, I was like 8 or 9. I remember that, but I remember like, I don't know. I have it like this little memory.
And I made this observation to you, and maybe it was my perception because everything seemed much bigger when you're a kid. You know, every celebration seems bigger, but it seemed like the country was more into it in 1976 than they are now. Again, this was from the perspective of someone who had just turned 7. Let me be clear, but I don't know. But,
I think it's everything's very divisive right now. I think I think it's kind of engineered that way. Actually, I think they want us to
people that want to split Americans.
Yes.
I really believe that.
Yeah,
that's it.
I will say, I think the World Cup is helping a little bit.
Yeah, I
show
think it's
some
nice.
patriotism.
Yeah, I think it's
and
nice.
It's been nice to hear what people that have been visiting, what they're saying about our country and our people. Because I do think, we have a lot of bad eggs and a lot of bad characters, but I do think we have also a lot of really good people.
Right.
And it's good to hear those stories too, that they're being treated nicely and politely and.
Well, that's good. That's good. And the thing is I also think it's nice to put the spotlight on other cultures too, not just America, but other cultures. I kind of think like it's, I don't know what the word, watershed moment for soccer in the United States. I think that it's like people are kind of into it. I never remember this before.
I'm very much into it.
Yeah.
But I also, something
Even
about
I'm
that
interested
too.
a little bit.
Yeah, not much, but... But I also wanted to say too,
go ahead.
Media everywhere portrays people in a certain light. You know what I mean? So like, we have like definite stereotypes from, about people from different countries, and they have them because the media portrays it that way. I remember we had the foreign language exchange student come to stay with us, which was a nightmare, but she had some very definite ideas of what it was like here for teenagers, and it all involved like red Solo cups and Levi jeans. Levis. How long did it take us to figure out what the heck she was talking about?
What's Levis? Yeah.
Yeah,
she was
But anyway,
French.
I think the media portrays different cultures inappropriately many times and doesn't take into account people and as human beings.
That's true.
That's all.
But I'll
say.
tell you the difference. On the Paranormal Report, we're very demure, very mindful. We don't look like a clown. We don't do too much. We do not see one shadow person and immediately redecorate the house with holy water. We do not spot one UFO and start packing for Alpha Centauri. We take a breath. We review the evidence, and then we say very respectfully, that's weird as hell. Thank you.
There you go. Bravo. Kudos. I'm assuming Claude or ChatGPT. I'm sure somebody helped you.
I apologize to Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe. Fiennes.
Well, isn't
it Fiennes?
Fiennes. Great actor.
Ralph.
Excellent.
You and I may know him as Ralph. Suddenly he's now Rafe.
He's Rafe. But he's regardless, he's a great actor.
We got to change words. I put this on the virtual campfire group. I want to be the person that sits in the room and changes all the terminology. I have decided that banana shall now be called yellowberry. There we go.
There you go.
I'm not going to eat a banana. I'm going to eat a yellowberry.
Yeah. Well,
let's just change things arbitrarily.
There you go.
It's fun.
Well, I guess we'll get this
On to
started
the
off.
news.
And my promise, well, not promise, but my resolution this week is to get my stories right. So we'll try to do that.
I thought your resolutions to be very demure, very mindful.
I don't have that. I'm always very, very demure, very mindful.
I'll be very
I'm always
demure.
that way. That's right. That's right.
I'll be very
Okay, on to business. There's a secret tape from 1952, apparently. Washington's insiders discussing UFOs. Quote,
Shocking.
an invasion of Washington. You know, in the 50s when there was this kind of like rash of sightings, and there's that famous picture, I think it was in Life magazine, of the Capitol and UFOs over the Capitol. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have.
But apparently there is a recording of a 1952 conversation between Air Force officials and scientists on UFOs that is soon to be released, according to Representative Eric Burleson. Now, originally I thought this was in coordination with the governmental release, but I'm not clear from this.
I don't think it
because I don't think it is.
I didn't think so either, Jim, when I read it.
So Burleson is pushing for the release of that. He mentioned this at a disclosure forum that was recently ongoing. And this recording supposedly is at MIT right now in their Lincoln laboratory. But supposedly Burleson, trying to push for this, has guaranteed that it'll be released to the public. I believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
it'll be released, but it'll be like highly edited if it's in MIT. Why isn't it MIT lab?
Disclosure, I don't know. Disclosure Foundation Executive Director Jordan Flowers told News Nation about Burleson. He stopped asking politely. He knows where certain files are. He's demanding answers. And according to News Nation, Mr. Flowers said he thinks the tapes record a long rumor but never before heard discussion about a series of UFO sightings that shook Washington in the summer of 1952. And they talked about it. Was it technology from the Soviet Union? Was it possibly little green men? At the end of the day, they said, nothing to see here. It was just strange weather, bad weather. So, again, when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, okay, this smoking gun. And then I read it and I'm like, we've been over this ground a million times, but I don't think we're going to get anything. I think at the end of the day, we're going to have a big nothing. And I also am going to make a prediction here. We're recording this on Tuesday, June 30th. It's going to be released on Wednesday, July 1st. Look for a release, I think. And I haven't read this anywhere. I bet you there'll be a release right before the start of the July 4th weekend to bury the UFO thing further. And they'll say, well, we released it. But people are so wrapped up in the holiday that they're not, when, next week comes around and we're all back to work, nobody's going to care. Watch. I bet you there is a release at the end of this week. That's
Friday, July 3rd, for sure, because that's the day 4th of July is being observed.
Well, I don't know, but they won't be open. Maybe they might do it on Thursday. See my point? If the governmental offices aren't open, so the 3rd is the...
right.
Yeah. So
they can't figure out how to do a future release, have it send... Because they can't do that. It's too technologically advanced for them.
No, they're not. So I would bet on maybe 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 3rd is my guess. And won't it be funny if that happens? We'll have to see.
3rd is Friday. So you're saying
second. Yeah, that's my guess. I mean, if they're...
We'll see. One of those days it's coming out.
As you know, I'm bad with calendars. So Friday is the day that it's observed. So then it'll be the 2nd. That's my call.
That's true, because they won't be working. Everything will be closed federally. Yeah.
So now we're talking about, this idea that we're not going to find anything. And it sounds like there are people in power who are putting pressure against those who would blow the whistle, as it were. You have a story about that, right?
Yeah, from Fox News. Apparently, Lou Elizondo and Representative Tim Burchett were speaking on Sean Hannity's podcast. So there's this big episode that was out. And Lou Elizondo is claiming that, there was a plan to eliminate him.
Wow.
So, yeah. He said an inebriated staffer had left a classified briefing on Capitol Hill where officials had disclosed the information just prior to the call. No details were given about how the plan was to go down or what it entailed. But they said for him to basically kind of watch out. And then he got another call immediately after from another staffer. And the first thing he says, quote, "Lou, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" He's like, "Well, you need to really watch yourself because there was discussions involving you and Grush, David Grush, that some people were very upset with what you guys did."
Huh.
Because they were the two that were like spearheading this disclosure stuff, right? So, he just says he said it's the reason why I have 5 German Shepherds and I'm heavily armed. Yeah. And then apparently this part, because I had heard rumblings. I don't know if you heard, Jim, too. There were rumblings about him having to watch because there were, for his life. But Tennessee GOP Rep Tim Burchett was also on the podcast, and this is what he said, quote, "I was sitting at the house and I got a call from a friend of the administration. It told me that I'd kicked a hornet's nest, and it said, 'You need to get bodies around you,'" he recalled.
Wow.
He quoted again, "I'm in East Tennessee. I've got bodies around me. There's enough good old boys out there," he continued. And then the quote continues, "Lou will tell you we have kicked a virtual hornet's nest, and these people don't want this stuff out, and I have my own theories about that as well, and I'm sure Lou does too."
Pursuing the UFO topic may be hazardous to your health.
Yep.
There was actually a book that Nick Redfern wrote years ago about this, about people throughout the history. I forget the name of it. Maybe I'll look it up when you're doing one of your stories. But it was about people who were tied to the UFO subject and died under mysterious circumstances. And you know what? I believe it. I think they're powerful people who are trying to push this under the rug. And I'm thinking they're people who would stop at nothing to do that.
Could be a tie-in as well with the missing scientists and generals. And
I'm not willing to say that 100%, but I think it's possible.
I'm not saying 100%. I said it could be tied into that too, because if Nick wrote a book saying that people were missing and killed because of what they knew,
yep.
I don't know. I just, wow. That's all I could say. It's like, wow. Really?
Well, on to our next story. Now, it's funny, Dar. I'm seeing a lot of people being interviewed nationally who used to come on our shows. Dr. Stephen Greer being one of the latest ones, although it was very difficult to get him when we did get him before, but we did have him on there. Now, a lot of people are excited and saying, hey, the truth is going to come out. And Dr. Greer, I think along the lines of what we think is like, maybe not so fast. He points out, and this is true, that the government over time has created different panels like the Condon Commission and different things to supposedly get to the bottom of the UFO things. But they were basically just a way to cover things up again. He said...
Maybe like Avi Loeb's new advisory council, maybe, perhaps, right? Let's make another council. Let's make another one.
Greer was on Katie Pavlich Tonight. I think it was on News Nation. He said, are the current panels investigations a redo of the 1950s and 60s, where those panels were created to basically put this in turnaround and into a dead end, or are they going to go somewhere? It's not clear yet if it's going to take that actual disclosure direction or not. Now Greer has said that his organization has compiled the information, the files that alien biologics have been retrieved, and that UAP seen in publicly released images are man-made clandestine craft and not extraterrestrial. So that's interesting.
I wonder if he means that too with the latest release, the things that have been released. Is that all man-made then?
Yeah, I don't know. But he said the question is, at what point will Congress hold hearings with subpoenas, or will the White House begin to release that type of evidence? And that's what we're waiting for. I think he's very, suspicious. Now, another thing that was quoted in this article was Christopher Mellon, who worked, I believe, in the Obama administration. Very kind of heavy hitter guy. Mellon, as in, Mellon Bank, that family, the super wealthy Mellons. He talked about the incursions over U.S. military bases and said, I'm sorry to say these kind of incursions have been happening at bases all over the United States and overseas. It isn't as widely known as it ought to be. This is true. There was Langley. There was some out at west, I think in the San Diego area over some of the naval bases. In one series of events, Christopher Mellon said UAP violated airspace over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia for 17 days straight. And he basically made the point, if Air Combat Command at Langley can't control its airspace, then you wonder how effectively they can protect Washington. So honestly, and that's a very good point. And I think he's concerned that these are adversaries of the U.S., very terrestrial adversaries. And what I would say, and I think he agrees because he seems to be very open to a wide range of explanations for UAP, that it could be both. You could have some bad actors using some super secret technology to invade American airspace. That could be very true. And there could be extraterrestrials too.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's one or the other. And I think you always get these camps who want to say, well, okay, well, this is this, and that means they're all that way, or this is that, and that means they're all that way. It's like, no, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things can all be true at the same time.
I would have to agree with that. Mm-hmm, well, I mean, you look at these things and if you go through some of the documents, yeah, I'm sure some of them are probably adversaries. It's military. You have a story coming up later that makes you really think about some things, what's going on. But I mean, and some of them, they don't know. Okay. Right. And no other country knows either. So that's interesting, right? So like, just keep an open mind. Mm-hmm, and I wish they would be more transparent, but they won't because we can't handle the truth. We just little babies.
in this next story, you're going to talk to us about the fires of hell, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, from Daily Mail, there's a story about the fact that we're living in God's simulation. And yeah, so, we've talked about this a lot.
I made exactly that same point, is that simulation theory to me is another way of saying there's a creator. So, yeah, and we just use the word simulation because that's what we understand. But if you have like a chief architect, a chief programmer, couldn't that just be called God?
There you go.
2 ways of just saying the same thing.
Just based on your belief system. You're right. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, Dr. Orson Wedgwood is a New Zealand-based scientist and author who works in healthcare research. And he's saying that, he studies near-death experiences, and he says there's a strange overlap between the Christian vision of hell and the theory that the world is a giant simulation. He said that these dark experiences involving visions of the afterlife have many things in common, like dark figures that can be described as demons or violence. And he points to them as more than hallucinations. We all say that. He says they could be real experiences that occur within a God-created simulation, serving as warnings for those who have rejected God. So he's getting very spiritual, very religious about this. He's a devout Christian, so I'm sure, his bias comes into play. I'm sure of it, but he feels NDEs are directly connected to the controversial simulation theory because the simulation's purpose is to sort out souls based on their life choices. He says we are in a created environment or a simulation in which we're being tested. Our consciousness, how we behave, and the experiences we have are real, but the rest is not. So he thinks it's, the simulation theory, we all know it's kind of like a video game, right? We're in this giant video game and whatever. A lot of people believe that. I guess they mention Elon Musk suggesting the creator being of the universe runs the simulation. And he was on a podcast saying that our world can be an alien Netflix series. saying that the purpose of life would therefore be keep humanity excited to increase our ratings and prevent our creator from turning the computer off.
Huh.
Right?
Wow.
Now, Wedgwood claims those that don't show interest in God either lose the eternal part of themselves and die or find themselves in a dark place. And he goes on, he talks about a story of a guy named Ian McCormick. He was a New Zealander who was surfing. And in 1982, he was stung by a jellyfish, and he claimed he descended into hell. And he said he could feel the evil. It was all around him. And he said he had a vision of his mother, and his mother told him to cry out to God, and he would hear and forgive the surfer. So he then did that, apparently, and he said he felt like a speck of dust being drawn up into a radiant light and delivered out of the kingdom of darkness.
Oh, my.
So he's kind of just putting some of this demonic hell stuff and into the simulation theory, and there's some studies about it, and he talks about a few other accounts of people who were feeling like they were in hell, and it was just a stench and creatures, and they had pain, and they became aware that they were in hell, and it was kind of to turn their life around and follow God.
Yep.
I'm not going to get religious, but I mean, didn't I just talk to you about, like, you know, how about when the game comes to an end, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, turn off the computer, game over. I mean, right?
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know, right? And then he could just start over again.
Yeah, it'd be like the end of some popular TV series where just something like a nuclear war or something happens. That's scary.
Or The Sopranos. No.
Well, I was going to say that one,
black.
but too soon. Spoiler.
Is that too soon? That show was out.
I'm joking.
How many years has this show been?
So I found the book.
Okay.
Nick Redfern, Close Encounters of the Fatal Kind, Suspicious Deaths, Mysterious Murders, and Bizarre Disappearances in UFO History. It was released in 2014. We did an interview on it, so if you go back in the Paranormal Podcast Archives Plus members, you can find it, and it's still available at Amazon, Kindle, audiobook, paperback. And since they're historic kind of things, it's just as pertinent now as it ever was, and it might be instructive, too, as you watch the news. And, you know, Nick was very, very active as an author up until a couple of years ago, and then he just kind of disappeared off the scene.
So shout out to Nick. Hope you're doing okay.
He's well. We hope he's well, and we hope that we see him back. I had him on the show many, many times. Great guy. Got to meet him a couple times at events, and really enjoyed talking with him both on air and off. And again, hope we see him back soon. He was right up there with like Brad Steiger and people like that. So we hope to, and Rosemary Ellen Guiley, of course. So we hope to see Nick back in action soon. Don't really know what's going on, but hope to.
Sending well wishes for sure.
Well wishes indeed. So now, this is kind of a short story, but meaningful. You know, we always talk about life on other planets. Well, NASA's Perseverance rover persevered and identified some very tantalizing clues to life, says unexplained-mysteries.com. And they said that they found a new clue in the form of complex carbon molecules in stones discovered in an ancient dried-up riverbed. This specific carbon that was detected is called, or is known as macromolecular carbon, and is known to be produced by life forms, although it's possible for it to be formed through geological processes. So again, it's one of those things that may be a hint that there was at least very small life on Mars. They can't tell from the rover itself. They don't have testing equipment, so they can't analyze it. And apparently this has all been spam call on my phone. Sorry, guys. I had to hit no. Anyway, basically
doing it live.
Well, no, I'm just being honest. I looked down and I'm not texting. I just had to dismiss that. So anyway, the point is that it'd been great if we could get those, but I believe the funding has been suspended for this program. It's been canceled. With the mission to pick up these samples and return them to Earth having been canceled, they say we may have to wait quite a long time before anything further can be learned. And that was, again, unexplained-mysteries.com, and they cited a story in The Guardian. So there you have it. There you have it. But again, I think there's a very, very good case. And I think even like the skeptics, you see them kind of turning that. I think people pretty much believe there was or is life in some form elsewhere in the universe. It's just a question of where or what, or if they've been here.
I keep thinking it's like a previous simulation from way ago. There was, maybe it wasn't Earth. Maybe all the life was on Mars, or maybe all the life was on another planet. And that, they got tired of that and they closed that game down and they started a new game here on Earth.
Well, and it sounds quite apocalyptic. What are you hearing?
Right. Well, this next story is very interesting. I did not know a lot about Mount Shasta. Do you know the lore and everything about Mount Shasta in California, Jim?
I think it's one of those things that I may have known at one time, but right now I have no idea.
Right. So I guess it's the history of it. It always felt like an energy vortex, like a healing place. A lot of Native American tribes, I guess a number of them revered the mountain as the center of the universe, like home to the creator. A lot of people feel that it has crystal healing. You could go there to meditate. There's a lore that there's a hidden civilization beneath the slopes, a city inhabited by ancient survivors of the mythical lost content of Lemuria. It's called Telos or Telos. So I was not familiar with any of this. So this was interesting because apparently there are sounds coming from Mount Shasta and nobody kind of knew what they were. And they're very bizarre and apocalyptic. But apparently this California native, Carrie Ann Snurr, and her daughter, Jordan, were horseback riding through the mountains, and they heard these weird screeching noises echoing through the trees. So they left the trail and they ventured into the bush, where they stumbled upon at least 100 solar-powered Bluetooth speakers protruding from the ground.
That's weird.
As they climbed further up, they found even more speakers hidden among the trees. One of the speakers was blasting a sermon-like recording that was mentioning salvation. And then they made one more discovery. It was an entire field of speakers, all emitting eerie noises across the mountainside. Another 100 of them out there, screaming. So, people are suspecting, well, is it the people from the underground? Who's putting these here, right? So she said some were like white noise, and they were all playing the same thing, except for the ones with the sermon. And you could make out a human voice repeating a mantra. She said there were no houses anywhere close by, within miles, and nothing to ward off anything. So she said it was definitely a summoning of some kind, and what a strange experience. But a couple days later, she hiked back into the forest over there to take a look at them. She's got pictures of them too. So this is from Daily Mail. I'll have the post, the link to the post. She confirmed on maps that the speakers are on private property near the California government lands, but she has no idea who put them there or why. And there are no official explanations from any authorities about why those things are there and what they're doing. So
interesting.
Yeah.
We live in a weird
I think they
world.
said the mountain also is like people have seen UFO sightings there, and there's like alien lore surrounding it. I don't know. Very weird.
Weird, wild stuff.
I don't know who wants these speakers there, but that is strange. Strange stuff.
Well, I think we've got someone who believes they have an answer to the question about aliens. And the answer is they're not aliens. A Catholic nun who has a podcast, Mother Miriam. Mother Miriam.
I'm sorry.
She says she leans towards the belief that the UFO phenomenon is rooted in the spiritual realm rather than in visitors from distant planets. And we're getting a lot more of this. A lot of people are talking. People are saying that it's not just, little green men. Mother Miriam said on a recent discussion on our podcast, this is from dailymail.com, and I wasn't familiar with Mother Miriam, but no, I'm not even Catholic.
Wow, you're doing the sign of the cross. There you go.
I think sooner look at the demonic side than the extraterrestrial. Dun, dun, dun. A listener had written to the nun asking whether she believed alleged alien encounters were the result of classic extraterrestrial visitors or something more spiritual. Mother Miriam said she believed the best explanation for many UFO sightings and alleged alien encounters may be the work of fallen angels. She cited the teachings of St. Thomas Aquinas and noted that the medieval I can't remember how to say that word. Theologian described angels as extraterrestrial beings because they originate from another world, the spiritual realm. She said the Catholic position, there is such a thing as extraterrestrial intelligence. These creatures are really from another world, the spiritual world. They're what we call angels. But she goes ahead and says that she believes that there could be life elsewhere. She does believe, but that's not what she believes UFOs are. She said about these beings, she said, some of these angels are ministers of light. Others are ministers of deception and destruction.
I believe that.
There you have it. Yeah, I kind of,
We said that too. We said some, extraterrestrial life might be very friendly and
we just assume it's all the same. Yeah.
Good and bad in every species, right? I mean,
That's true. That's true. You've got nice dogs, you've got mean dogs.
You do.
But usually the mean dogs are because they've been mistreated by humans. But
could be. I felt that that story was interesting because there is a Catholic nun portrayal and disclosure day. Right? And there was PJ, our great listener and supporter, shout out, had some really interesting viewpoints about that little storyline.
I thought it was interesting that Spielberg decided to. I applaud him actually because it's such a sensitive area. Because a lot of people think the reason that this is not disclosed is because it would shift people's worldviews and they wouldn't be able to deal with it. That religion, even though people aren't as religious as they used to be, it's kind of a glue that kind of holds society together. And if people think, we've been fed a line all these years, they lose their center of gravity, and they've just become, kind of like anything goes. I think that's kind of the thing. Like, well, if everything we've been told,
total chaos.
Why don't I just go loot a store? Why don't I just kill somebody? Why don't I just do whatever I want to? Because everything we've been told is a lie. I mean, I think that's kind of writ large what the concern could be. But that could also just be an excuse. There could be other reasons, and then just, we don't tell people because they couldn't handle it. That's an easy, almost justifiable reason, right? When it could be for other reasons. Maybe if there were ETs, there could be enough energy to power all of our homes for free, and our cars for free, and big companies would lose out, and all kinds of potential reasons to get rid of maybe it would be like that to serve man without the eating humans part, where they could come and put total abundance in the crops and we wouldn't have to worry about, everybody would have plenty. It sounds kind of...
I'd buy that. Anything that has to deal with money,
Right.
Money is the root of all evil.
Yes. The love of money. The love of money is the root of all evil.
Okay, sorry.
I guess my grandfather once said, if money's the root of all evil, give me a little more of that root. But anyway. That was on my mom's side.
What you were just saying harkens back to that story we did a couple months ago where supposedly they called all the preachers together at Camp David.
Yes.
Remember to tell them about all of this? Mm-hmm. And I'm still curious about all... See, I still don't think that stuff's been released. Because... remember, I don't know, just some of the...
I don't think anything's going to be released where it's slam dunk. Because some pretty powerful stuff has been released, and it's kind of been, I'm thinking about the Apollo. I can't remember if it was 12
totally ignored.
Yeah.
There's all the Apollo missions, Jim. Almost all of them had stuff. We just didn't report on all of them.
But the point is that they didn't even make the news. Nobody cares. It's like old news.
Also, they don't want to take the time to go through that. And then they're like, well, why do we want to report on this? This isn't anything. Who cares? Whatever.
Well, speaking of reports, you have an update.
We have a follow-up, everybody, right? June 24th, right? Did you guys watch the World Cup match? Brazil, right? The aliens, they came, right? They came and abducted everyone, right? No. We had reported that there was this Brazilian psychic. What was her name? Vo Baiana. Remember, she had dreams that, it was going to be complete destruction, and they were going to start pulling people from the stands, and they were going to abduct under everybody, and blah, blah, blah. And just like Lisa on our virtual campfire group.com, she posted, she's like, what happened? Nothing happened. I'm like, no, nothing happened. But we have a follow-up, Lisa. We have a follow-up. We didn't listen to her. We didn't listen to Vo. We didn't listen to her. We misunderstood what she said from the beginning. That's her argument now. This is from Ola.com. According to her, people misunderstood what she said from the beginning. She pushed back against claims that she guaranteed an alien invasion, insisting she only shared a recurring dream that she felt was unusually vivid.
Aha.
So you're all wrong. We were wrong. I was wrong. It was just a dream.
Just a dream.
Just like JR.
No, that was Bobby.
Bobby. Sorry, whatever. Well,
no,
anyway.
Like half of our audience at least has no idea what we're talking about.
Go look it up. The
Dallas,
show
Dallas.
Okay.
Go ahead.
She says she's against fake news and misinformation. Anyone who watched my video will see that I said, guys, I had a dream. Yeah, you did. And then you said it felt very real and that was going to happen. I'm sorry, you did. But she's trying to backpedal it. She got scared because it was the second time she was having the same dream, and that one was more intense. And she says she never promised aliens were going to come on June 24th. And at no point did she say it was guaranteed. Here we go again with semantics. But anyway, what I don't like, though, is she's getting harassed and, the things that people do that they should not be doing. Insults. She's getting hate. She's got a whole bunch of negative things happening to her.
That's not right. That's not.
Come on. Okay, this is constructive, right? Let's talk about what she said, and then if you want to laugh and make fun of her for saying it, or just say, oh, it didn't happen, she was wrong, but you don't go to her and do stuff like that. That's completely inappropriate. I really don't understand why our society now thinks it's okay. Like, all these trolls think it's great. Do you people have nothing to do with your lives? Because I don't know. I thought we were all pretty busy society, but you have time to sit there and go harass somebody because they made a statement or a comment or they thought something. Who cares? Move on. Let them think what they want to think, and you move on and do you. You do you, boo. Anyway, she did say she isn't abandoning everything completely. She said at the time the game was happening, there were also 10 earthquakes at the same time, right? On the 24th. But people said, no, there were about 4. But yeah, so, and she's making predictions about who's going to win the World Cup. And it's kind of just, in my opinion, everyone, it's just kind of stupid because she's just predicting France, Spain, and England as strong contenders. Well, so's everyone else predicting those 3 countries. I think like France is like 21 or 27% chance of winning. I mean, so everyone else is predicting that too. So whatever. However, I will say I stayed up late. I shouldn't have, but I stayed up late to watch Morocco and the Netherlands, and mind blown. I cannot believe how that came out to shootouts. Came off to the kicks like that. I was like, oh my gosh. And I thought for sure the Netherlands had it. So you never know what's going to happen. So we'll find out. I think France plays today. But anyway, no reason to harass her. Let her believe her thoughts. Let her have her predictions. If she's wrong, she's wrong. You don't have to believe it. right?
Right.
I didn't believe it.
Yeah, we shouldn't be harassing people.
No, leave her be.
People have lost their damn minds.
Thank you. I've been saying that all week. I've been adding a couple other words in there, but
I have a friend who has this saying, and I really like it. Common sense isn't common anymore.
That's for sure. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like
that a lot.
That's true. Well, common sense is if the United States is shooting secret space planes up into space, then the Chinese probably are too. And they are. The Divine Dragon, the Shenlong space plane, just deployed a mysterious payload above our planet. This is according to livescience.com, so this is not Weekly World News. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And this plane is so secret. Now, the United States has a similar kind of plane, but you see pictures of it. You know it exists. You know when it goes up. The Chinese are much more close-lipped. There's an artist depiction on this, and it looks very much like a smaller space shuttle.
That's what I thought.
Is what it looks like. But the U.S. one, I think it's the X, what is it? It says I always get it wrong here. It's like the XB something or other. X-37B, and it looks very much like a scaled down space shuttle. But apparently this thing is letting stuff loose in space. Let's see if I can find this here. It's never been photographed by outside nations. They don't have any clear idea of what it looks like or how large it is, but I wonder why we came up with this particular image. They said that it first launched in space in a 2-day mission in 2020. It had been up for 8 months in low Earth orbit between August 22 and May 2023, and a 9-month space flight between December 23 and 24, and it has released multiple payloads into space. We don't know what those payloads are. They're thinking maybe like a anti-satellite weapon. We don't know. But they've had observations from Leo Labs, it's called. It's a private space surveillance firm, and they said they had independently cataloged this object and assessed with high confidence that it was released from the Chinese space plane. So who knows? Maybe it's those objects that are flying over Langley, like space-based drones or something. I mean,
I thought you were going to say something that I had in my head,
or those space balloons or whatever that came up a couple of years ago.
I'm thinking those meteors that have fallen. Could some of that be space garbage from their junk and they didn't need it anymore and it fell? How would we know? Nobody's going to tell us anything.
There's a lot of stuff going on, folks, and it's like shiny object. It's like you have a little baby. It's like, look at this, look at the shiny pen, look at the shiny pen, look at it. And there's all this other stuff going on. I'm convinced.
You got it. That's
look
what.
At this shiny
so when you were
toy.
Talking about that, that's exactly. I just hit my head. I'm like, could that be the stuff that's like falling? And they're saying they're meteors, and that's why I thought. Yeah, that goes back to the article you just started with, where the what was it? The general said, I'm afraid if for Washington, if they can't protect.
Right.
I'm just thinking that with the meteors. So NASA doesn't know that meteors are coming down. Like nobody knows that they're all.
That was very suspicious. When was that?
What are you doing?
Was that January, February? When was that?
Somewhere around there.
And then there were a whole rash of them.
But all over the place, even in other countries. Bingo.
I mean, I've been alive 57 years. I never heard anything like that. 56 at the time. But I mean, it was just really, really, really weird.
They couldn't track it. So what good are you? No. I know people are going to take offense to that, but I'm just saying you're supposed to be the top space organization, right? You don't have a handle on how many media. I can understand one slips through and you kind of missed it. How many? I mean, how many have hit?
It's very suspicious.
Texas, Dallas. I mean, there were places all over the world. Wasn't it France and Germany?
And I'll tell you what else. And now it's constantly scorching hot. I mean, we're going to be in the 90s this week. Right now, I'm in my upstairs studio, And I was downstairs the rest of the day on my laptop because we have like newer central air, but it doesn't hit our second floor very well. So this is like a hot box in this studio. So, but the funny thing is that we've got all this heat and, it has consequences. This heat has consequences. Your devices, it's hard on cars, it's hard on air conditioning, but it's also apparently really hard on people. And it may be having a big unintended side effect, according to this story you have coming up, right?
Yes, it's that heat dome. Now, I do think our friends in the UK are getting some relief from that heat dome.
Yes,
but last week it was really bad. I spoke to my uncle who lives there, and he was like, it's like 90 some degrees, and they don't have central air. It's not like the US. Like a lot of places don't have central air there. He had a very small fan. He was taking cold showers. I was kind of concerned about him. Well, anyway,
right,
this heat dome has. Yeah, this heat dome's moved here to like Northeast Ohio. I know the Ohio area and a few other states nearby. So we're going to hit what they've had. I mean, I think they're forecasting feels like temp for 105. So maybe this kind of stuff can be happening here too. So the Daily Star is saying that heat wave turned Brits into killer demons. A paranormal expert warned about like it being so hot that supernatural beings were going to take control of people's bodies.
Yikes.
Maybe that's going to happen here in Ohio. Yeah. Expert Robert Pulma warned demons thrive in scorching conditions. Quote, in folklore and mythology, demons are historically associated with intense heat, specifically the fires of the underworld, and demons draw on what is around them for strength and energy. So the hotter it is, the more powerful they become. And it's why when temperatures drop, when spirits are around, they pull all of the heat and energy into themselves. Yeah. So, they're saying because it was so hot, demons thrive in it, and they're just going to want to go ahead and do harm so they can thrive and have possession of people. Yeah.
You know what? I'm
so sorry.
You're looking a little more red than usual.
Oh,
and it is warm. So what's going on here? Oh, what's going on? Ooh. I think that Dar is turning into a demon.
I have odd behavior all the time. They also say I could be reacting negatively to prayer and have night terrors. I might start talking in a different voice or have new skills or abilities you never had.
Get out.
If anyone you know starts showing these behaviors, they need help quickly. So they said, I'm sorry. They said you should call trained exorcists to come and like priests to help you.
Devil come out.
I don't know. Look. My 2 cents, okay? I always give my 2 cents. I do believe that
really
demons it's real, and I do believe it can possess
No, I meant
people.
You really give your 2 cents. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. That it can really, I think it can inhabit people. I do. I really believe that.
Yeah,
but
I do think we have to be.
I don't think so. Sorry.
But I do think we have to be careful, though, because I know in the olden days, if people had mental issues or different things, they would say you're possessed. So do I think it's possible? Yes, I think it's possible. Yes. I think you got to be really, really, really careful about that.
Fine line. I think there's a fine line, don't you? I think there are people, and it regardless, it is very sad. People suffering from mental illness who think that they're possessed, or people who are actually possessed. That's a sad thing. Somebody's going through that. So, show kindness. But do I personally think that the heat's... do I become a you-know-what when it's really hot? I sure as heck do. I don't think I'm possessed. I just think I can't stand the heat. Do I need to get out of the kitchen? Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe, so I don't have to cook this week.
Oh!
I turned it to my advantage.
There you go. No. Well, we are going to get out of the kitchen here, the Paranormal Report. We've got some special stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks that you'll be hearing about, some fun stuff. And may end up adjusting some release dates.
Next
in
week.
upcoming
This
weeks.
might come out a little late next week, this show.
So be aware. That is by plan. That's not by illness or any problem. But
No.
Because
and maybe we'll release what's going on Virtual Campfire. Maybe.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
it would behoove you to be a member of that. So go to
you may
Virtual
get a little
Campfire
early.
group.
Might get a little early intelligence on that. Yeah, for something special for a couple of our shows. If everything goes as planned, But right now, everything's on the calendar, and it should be kind of neat. Something very different for us. Very different indeed.
And hopefully Summerween. We're hoping to do a live stream, Summerween, in the next couple weeks. We will be announcing that date as well.
Correct.
Hopefully.
Correct. Yeah.
Once I could get my boss to commit. No.
Yeah. Focus, Jim. Focus. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the Paranormal Report. We appreciate it. Please tell your friends. We really need to spread the word about this show. We're kind of stagnant, particularly since we moved over to the secondary YouTube channel to try to make it work better. It's probably worked worse.
Oh, it was horrible. It's horrible, Jim. I don't know if you should keep it there. I think
Well,
it's bad.
honestly, I did the same thing with the Paranormal Podcast, and I saw exactly the same thing, because all the YouTube gurus say your content has to be very consistent on a channel. Having different series on the same channel is bad because it confuses the algorithm, and that seems to make sense. But then when you move the show and it actually does worse, I think basically YouTube has it against us, and they're never going to show our stuff. I mean, I don't know.
It's not just you. It's all small-time potatoes. Yeah. If you were Sean Hannity getting to interview
either you have to be a celebrity or you have to be young and hip, and we are decidedly not young and hip, unfortunately.
Where's your baseball cap? Get that on backwards.
Get on backwards. Yeah, that's the thing. Plaid shirt, backwards.
Oh,
baseball
wait.
cap.
I know what I can do. I know what I can do to help. Wait a minute. On today's episode, we're going to talk about pancakes. Don't forget the tapping. The tapping's so important. And wait, important. I'm sorry. I gotta drop my ends. I gotta tap.
Button.
When you press the button. And then I gotta get more vocal fry too, because that's what women are supposed to have. Vocal fry. You have to talk like a Kardashian, and you have to tap. And we're gonna look at pancakes today.
1 million views.
I wish. There we go.
So, all right. Well, we will talk to you next time on the Paranormal Report.
Happy 4th, everyone. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Have a good 4th. Don't shoot fireworks into neighbors' houses. Be good.
Stay spooky.